India, much like Brazil, has long been considered a rising power, a country with immense future potential. Its economic growth took off after 1990 alongside China's. However, China has surged far ahead of India. In 1990, 33 years ago, India's per capita income was $367, while China's was $317. By 2000, India's per capita income had risen to $1,357, whereas China's had climbed to $4,450. Fast forward to 2022, and India's per capita income reached $2,388, while China's soared to $12,720. So why did China grow and develop so much faster than India? In this video, we will explore the reasons behind why the world's two most populous nations took such different economic paths. China became an economic miracle, lifting over 800 million people out of poverty, while India developed at a more average pace. Before we dive in, consider subscribing to our channel to keep receiving more fascinating videos like this one. Number 1. China invested heavily in human capital. In 2023, India became the most populous country in the world, surpassing China. Western media celebrated this news, with many experts predicting that India might soon overtake China economically. While it's true that India now has a larger population, this doesn't automatically mean its economy will surpass China's. For example, the United States, with a population of about 330 million, is still the world's largest economy. This shows that population size is just one factor influencing a country's economy. China's spokesperson, Wang Wenbin, highlighted this point. He explained that economic benefits from a large population depend not only on quantity, but also on quality.
Take a listen to this.
When assessing a country's demographic dividend, we need to look not just at the size, but also the quality of the population. Size matters, but what matters more is talent. Nearly 900 million out of 1.4 billion Chinese are of working age and on average have received 10.9 years of education.
First, let's look at the labor force participation rate, or LFPR, in both China and India. India's LFPR is much lower than both the global average and China's rate. In 2021, 75.8% of China's working-age population was part of its labor force, compared to only 51.3% in India. This difference is largely due to the gap in female labor force participation. In India, only 24.6% of women were in the labor force, whereas in China it was 70.8%. India also has lower male labor force participation rates than China. Secondly, after shifting to a more market-oriented economy, China made significant investments in its people, particularly in education and health, surpassing India in creating a globally competitive workforce. The World Bank's 2020 Human Capital Index, which measures education and health outcomes on a scale from 0 to 1, gave India a score of 0.49, lower than Nepal and Kenya, both of which are poorer countries. China, on the other hand, scored 0.65, on par with much richer nations like Chile and Slovakia. If we assume that China and India had similar productivity levels in 1953, by the late 1980s, China had become over 50% more productive. Today, China's productivity is nearly double that of India. While 45% of Indian workers are still in the low-productivity agriculture sector, China has advanced beyond basic manufacturing and is now a leader in global markets, particularly in electric vehicles. Additionally, Chinese scientists have made significant progress in research, especially in chemistry, engineering, and materials science, and they are poised to lead in artificial intelligence. Chinese researchers in both academia and industry are rapidly producing high-quality patents, as shown in recent data. Number 2. Gender equality and India's caste system. Do you know that China provided nearly universal healthcare and its citizens, including women, enjoyed higher rates of primary education? A World Bank report highlighted China's significant progress in gender equality during Mao Zedong's era. As noted by Nicholas Kristof and Cheryl Woodoon in their 2009 book, Half the Sky, China became one of the best places to grow up female. Greater access to education and a higher female labor force participation rate led to lower birth rates and better child-rearing practices. Recognizing China's advancements in developing human capital and empowering women, the report boldly predicted a tremendous increase in living standards within a generation or so. In contrast, India faces additional challenges, such as the caste system. This traditional social hierarchy divides people into groups based on birth and has been in place for centuries, affecting job opportunities, education, and social interactions. People from lower castes, including Dalits, historically have had less access to quality education and job opportunities. This results in a lack of skilled workforce and hinders economic growth. Despite government efforts to provide quotas in education and jobs for lower castes, disparities persist. The rigid caste system also limits social mobility, making it hard for people to move up the social and economic ladder. This perpetuates poverty and inequality, as lower caste individuals often remain in low-paying jobs. In China, the focus is on merit and skills. Without a caste system, China has been able to invest in education and training for all its citizens, creating a more skilled workforce. The Chinese government has implemented policies that promote industrialization and technological advancement, ensuring a large portion of the population can contribute productively to the economy. Number 3. The compounding efforts from the government. There are many reasons why China is growing and developing faster than India, but a key factor is the country's leadership. The Chinese government has played a crucial role in transforming the nation from poverty to the world's second-largest economy in just one generation. The government's policies have helped the economy privatize quickly, liberalize prices, deeply reform the labor market, and open up to international trade and foreign investment faster than India. They also reinvested a large portion of GDP into infrastructure, boosting China's overall economic growth. One reason India hasn't built an extensive network of manufacturing facilities like China is that it hasn't invested as much in infrastructure. China invests about 6.5% of its GDP in infrastructure development, while India invests only about 4.5%. However, India is planning to increase its infrastructure spending, with the government announcing $1.4 trillion in capital investments by 2025. China also has a better supply chain system than India. In China, products are often built using parts sourced within the country, while Indian manufacturers often need to import parts, adding to the cost of the finished product. China boasts the most complete industrial system in the world and has been the largest manufacturing country for 14 consecutive years, accounting for nearly 30% of the world's total manufacturing output in 2023. All of this success is not by chance, but by careful planning from the centralized Chinese government. For example, during the pandemic, the Chinese government ramped up the production of face masks, built hospitals in a matter of days, and implemented widespread testing and contact tracing. This centralized approach helped to contain the virus more quickly compared to many other countries. And these are the 3 core reasons why China is developing faster than India. Do you agree with our analysis? If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button to show your support. Most importantly, subscribe to our channel to keep receiving more interesting content like this.